Hey, I'm Mike Backrell, and today we're going to take a look at a couple of Herb Ellis lines that swing really hard. Let's take a look. This first line is a 2-5 in the key of E flat. So we have an F minor 7, B flat 7, D flat major 7. So it starts on an E flat, which is our flat 7. And we go up to F, G, A flat, G, F. So we're kind of walking around that shape. And then we jump down to C, our 5th. C sharp, and that lands us up to D, which is where our B flat 7 chord happens. Once we get down to C, we're walking up to the D, which is setting us up with really great voice leading for the B flat 7 chord. The line he plays once you get to B flat 7 is one of the classic bebop lines that you have to know. Everyone plays it. So we go D, F, A flat, B flat. So far we're just going up a B flat 7 arpeggio from the 3rd to the root. Then we go to a B natural, which is our flat 9, and then D flat, back down to the B natural, or C flat, B flat, and then we go F sharp up to G. And that leads us right to our E flat major 7. So what we're doing here over the B flat 7, we're playing a 7 flat 9 arpeggio, which is a really common thing that people do, where if you play a diminished arpeggio from any chord tone on a dominant 7 except for the root, you get a dominant 7 flat 9. And Charlie Parker would do this a lot and go up to the root and then kind of trill off of that flat 9 to the sharp 9, and then he would resolve to the 3rd of whatever chord he was leading to, in this case an E flat major 7. So this is a really classic line, and Herb Ellis uses it, Tal Farlow uses it, Charlie Parker, Dizzy Gillespie, Bruce Foreman, I use it, everyone uses this. Now the rhythm on this line is 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1. Once we're on the E flat, we hold in that G for a quarter note, and then we go C, C flat, B flat, D. Now what he's doing here with the C to the B flat here is he's kind of filling in a gap in his scale with a chromatic tone. I recently did an entire lesson on this concept the way that Bruce Foreman explained it to me, and I'll leave a link to that lesson in the description. Here's the full line. The 7 flat 9 line that Herb Ellis plays over the B flat 7 chord is such a big cliche. This is something you want to have under your fingers in all kinds of positions on the guitar. So here this is over an F7, and I'm kind of using this shape of F7 to play this. So I have A, C, E flat, F, F sharp or G flat, G sharp, F sharp, F, and then I go down to D flat, and I resolve it up to D, which takes me to B flat major. And from here I walk up D, E flat, E, F, and I go do a quick slide from D flat to D, and down to B flat. So that's a line you definitely want to have in as many positions as possible. Now this next line is just a G7 going to C, so a 5 to 1. Got G7 to C major 7. But I'm playing a D flat arpeggio here, a D flat 7 arpeggio. And how does that work? I've talked about this concept in a couple other lessons, but I will briefly explain it here. This is a tritone substitution. And so the way that works is, if I take a G7, the important notes of that chord are the tritone, which is the 3rd and the flat 7th of the chord. So in this case, F and B. And if I go up a tritone and play another dominant 7th chord there, in this case it would be D flat 7, because D flat is a tritone away from G. I have the same tritone. I also have F and B, because this wants to resolve out to the C chord, the B wants to go up to the C, and the F wants to go down to E. This D flat 7 could also do that. So this is a really common substitute that a lot of jazz players will use, and it creates really great voice leading for your comping. So for example, if I'm playing D minor 7, I go to G7, C major 7, or I can go D minor 7, D flat 7, C major 7, which creates a cool chromatic bass line. And that's what Herb Ellis is using here. So we're starting here on B, or over D flat, B, C flat technically, B up to D flat, F, A flat. And so this is right out of a D flat 7 arpeggio. And then I slide down to G. Over the D flat, that'd be a sharp 11. And then I resolve that F to E, down to G. And the rhythm of this line is 1 and 2 and 3 triplet, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Now for picking, I'm sweeping the D flat portion and then resorting to alternate picking for the rest. This next line takes place over a 2/5 in the key of G. A minor 7, D7, G major 7. And this line is a really great example of something a lot of swing players would use. Instead of outlining the changes, they will play in the key and just play a really cool repeating idea. And so this is one of the situations where it's okay to ignore the changes and just play a repetitive figure that swings really hard. So even though we're playing over a 2/5, the notes we're playing aren't really outlining that. Our repeating figure is E, G. E, G, E, G, E, G, and then we slide from F sharp and B flat up to G and B, which is the root and third of the G major chord. Now the second half of this line is the same thing, just with a different ending. We're going to slide it from D. So that's the whole line. Now, like I said, this doesn't outline the 2/5 at all. And in fact, it kind of clashes because over the D7 we have an F sharp and we're playing a G. But the repetitive nature of this figure kind of supersedes the harmony at the time, and it's just a great melody. This next line here is almost an extension out of the previous line. It's just over different changes now. This part takes place over F sharp minor 7 flat 5 to B7 to E major 7. The first measure here rhythmically imitates that previous line because this line came right after that phrase. So here we go. We're on a D sharp and going up to D. Now you can see over the 2 here, we're not really acknowledging the 2. We're kind of ignoring the 2 and just going straight to 5 because this D sharp to D is the third and the sharp 9 of a B7 chord. Here's an example of something that a lot of improvisers do, where they'll ignore the 2 chord and just play 5 over the whole thing. And that's something you can definitely incorporate into your playing. So we got... Then once we get here, we're officially on B7. So what we're doing here is we got D, B, C, C, B, A, F sharp, G, G sharp. And that leads us right to our E major 7. Once you get that G sharp, I just go down to E. Now, this part of the phrase here, this is another one of those bebop cliches that you want to have down all over the guitar in every position, if you'll see it, because it's when you're going from the root of the dominant 7th chord, root, flat 7, 5, sharp 5, and that leads you right to the major 3rd of the 1 chord you're going to. That's a resolution that everyone uses. So the full line. This last example is over the first 4 measures of All the Things You Are. All these examples come from a solo Herb Ellis played over the changes to All the Things You Are. This one's 4 measures here. We're going F minor 7, B flat minor 7, E flat 7, to A flat major 7. So here's the line. You see it covers quite a bit of range too. It's a really great way to kind of get into sliding through your scale. So over the F minor 7, F, G, A flat, B flat, C, B flat. And he's definitely outlining the F minor 7 here. He's root, second, flat third, fourth, fifth. So there's his triad right there. Now the second measure, over the B flat minor 7, you could kind of see that he's picturing E flat 7 already. He's already kind of jumped ahead mentally to the E flat 7, and he resolves it in the next measure. So we have the pickups in the measure, and the and a 4, G, and then we land on E flat. D, D flat. So he's kind of walking from the root to the flat 7. And this is definitely another example of Bruce Forman's concept on 3-note groupings. Now once we get to D flat, we go D flat, C, B flat, G. All the notes are here for an E flat 7. Where the E flat 7 chord actually is, he jumps up to A flat. And so he resolves this early. So he's kind of picturing A flat at this point. Even though the E flat 7 chords happen, he's already made that resolution. And he's kind of walks down the scale. A flat, G, F, and the little trill, G, F, A flat, D flat, slide down to C, B flat. And that's all out of A flat major. And then this last measure where the A flat major chord actually happens, A flat, F, G, B flat, A flat, B flat, C. So you can tell once he gets to this A flat section, he's very much working his way around those chord tones. He starts here on the root at A flat, down to the 5th, 3rd, root, 7th, root, 3rd. So he's very much playing around these chord tones quite a bit. You can definitely see here, he's definitely picturing this chord shape as he's playing. So everything he's playing kind of comes around that triad shape. So I hope you had fun taking a look at these 6 different lines here. Herb Ellis is one of my favorite improvisers. He's the guy that really got me into jazz. Like, once I heard him play with Oscar Peterson, it really sold me on the whole genre, and I've been on this journey ever since. So in the comments, please let me know, what is your favorite Herb Ellis record? My favorite is Hello Herbie with the Oscar Peterson Trio. So thanks for checking out this lesson. Keep practicing. I'll see you next time.